As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, I guess it's easy to go with the highest paid player in the history of the NFL, Jalen Hurts, right? $255 million 5-year contract extension, includes nearly $180 million in guaranteed, 51 million average annual value, largest in league history.
Mm.
So makes more than Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, everyone. Big money. And then they announced the day after that, just a little ankle surgery here, no big deal.
Just to clean up. Just cleaning it up. I you and I talked a lot about Jalen Hurts. Obviously, when we were doing the radio broadcast when he was playing, it I never saw this coming. I thought he would be a bottom half of the league type starter or, top of the league type backup.
With the right fit, goes to the right place, could find some success.
Yeah. I think anyone, really other than Jalen Hurts, because guys put the work in. He's believed in himself. He's put the work in. But man, how impressive of a start to his career. And I think there's a lot of credit you got to give to a lot of different people. And the credit starts with Jalen Hurts, right? The improvement has been just really, really impressive, especially when it comes to the passing game. Eagles deserve a ton of credit too, Ted. Right? Obviously, when they took him in the second round, they had Carson Wentz signed to a long-term deal, big money, but they
Yep.
saw something in him and believed in him. So I think, those are the two people, the two entities that deserve the most credit is Hurts and then the brass there in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I don't, because I've tossed it around a little bit. Is this premature? Are they doing too much with maybe a couple year flash here with what we've seen from Jalen Hurts? But I don't think that's the case. As hard of a worker he is, I know he's had some ankle issues, but he's a big, strong, super strong, physical, durable guy. He'll have to, become smarter and smarter, taking care of himself whenever he gets outside of the pocket. I think he's developed his passing game is ahead of what I thought it would be. He's continued to work on accuracy and timing, and the RPOs getting into the NFL, I think, has helped him tremendously. And until teams develop a better way of stopping some of those, I think he's going to continue to have a lot of success.
Yeah. And I always say this when people ask me about him. I think if he wasn't playing quarterback in the NFL, he's one of those guys that I think would still be in the NFL at a skill position. I really do.
Yeah.
With his size, the power, like the strength, the speed, like I think he could be, a second or third running back and a special teams ace. Right?
Yeah.
But to his credit, he's an NFL caliber athlete that has turned himself into a damn good quarterback. And that is, you just don't see that every day. I do think, and not to go too deep on this, right? It's awesome that he's the highest paid player in the league. It's great for OU, right? They can put it on the graphic. In fact, they did it. They put gold bars on the graphic, which was pretty funny. But I do think Lamar Jackson, and I don't know how this affects Lamar's contract situation with the Ravens. They got to be looking at this going, oh gosh. Oh man.
Right.
I do think Lamar and the success he had in Baltimore, right? And how they built that offense around him. And, he had that MVP year. I think that did, in a way, kind of set the table for the Eagles looking at it and going, okay, we can build an offense around this guy.
Yeah.
And to their credit, it's been wildly successful.
Yep.
But one guy, and I know OU fans aren't going to love it, but one guy that deserves a lot of credit is Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it a lot during that 2019 season. Lincoln changed his offense pretty substantially to fit Jalen Hurts' skill set. And they worked a way more QB run game into the offense, even way more than the year before with Kyler. And they really played to his strengths. And Lincoln deserves credit for that. He does. And they ended up in a college football playoff as a result of it. And I think showcasing Hurts' talents that season also probably had the Eagles looking at it going, hey, they did a lot of things where they built this offense at Oklahoma around him. He improved as a passer. You know, he's got the right mental makeup, the competitiveness, all that stuff. But, you know, maybe we can do that too, and it can work. So I know a lot of OU fans don't want to give Lincoln Riley any credit anymore, but what he did with him and how that positioned Jalen Hurts for his NFL career, he deserves credit.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, and I don't know him, so I could be wrong on this, but there's a lot of guys in every sport that whenever they hit the contract like this, it totally changes their work ethic. It changes how much they put into the game. They feel like they've arrived. They feel like they've like everything's already been accomplished. I'm just along for the ride at this point. I don't get that feeling with him. He seems to be
a robot.
A robot. Yeah. Dad was a coach. He was like the perfect player for Nick Saban, right? And you feel like that's just going to be what he continues to do.
Yeah. And one last thing. Congrats to Nicole Lynn, his agent. Nicole, I've known Nicole for a long time. She's an OU grad. She's also married to Gabe Lynn, former Oklahoma defensive back. We were in the same recruiting class. So
congratulations to Gabe Lynn too.
Yeah. Which Gabe Lynn, guess where he's at?
Where?
It's on the Colorado staff. So
really?
the Lynns are just balling right now, man. Look at them go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
Okay. I went with ESPN FPI. This is probably something that's very stupid to get annoyed with, but I don't understand. It's a outright lie. It is a blatant lie that this so-called formula that they ran 20,000 simulations on has Texas as the number 5 team. It's a lie. They're lying to us. They say it's based off of recent success. You look at the top 10, Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, USC, Clemson, Notre Dame. Aside from USC, who's recent to the show, these are top 10 perennial football teams. They're in the top 10 almost every single year in some varying order, except Texas. Texas has been there, I think, once. They were 9 as a 4-loss team when they went to the Sugar Bowl. That's it. This is there. I cannot be convinced that they didn't just place Texas at number 5.
This is, and I'm with you. And I spent a full segment on my radio show talking about this. So I have come strapped for this conversation.
Good.
The thing that bothers me the most, Texas is at 5. There's got to be, and I don't know how their formula, algorithm, whatever the hell you want to call it, works. There's got to be a substantial recruiting component into it, right? And there's just no doubt that Texas has accumulated a lot of talent over the last several years, right? That's got to be part of that formula. That's the only way that it makes sense that they're in there at number 5, because they've gone 5-7 and 8-5 in the last 2 seasons, right? So I don't want to hear the recent success argument. They've got one double-digit win season in the last 13 years. One. And it's that Sugar Bowl year you're talking about. Mm-hmm. This is the part that pisses me off. In their formula, they spit out your percentage chance of winning your conference. And they give Texas a 54.4% chance to win the Big 12. Texas has not won the Big 12 since 2009. How the hell can they have more than a 50% chance to win the Big 12? They haven't done it since I was redshirting in college, and I'm old as hell now, Ted. I'm getting creaky. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
They've won it 3 times in the entire history of the conference, which started playing in 1996. So what is that, like 27 years? Something like that? 26, 27 years, they've won it 3 times.
OU's one of 14, by the way, if anyone's wondering.
Right.
One of the other things, just because I took a long look at just where all the Big 12 teams are ranking, this one bothered me almost more than Texas. I think you and I agree that Chris Kleiman's doing an awesome job at Kansas State. Mm-hmm. Coming off the Big 12 championship, right? They've got Kansas State with a 2.9% chance to win the Big 12 conference. And I know they lost Deuce Vaughn and Malik Knowles and Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Like, they lost talent. There's no doubt about it. But I believe in Chris Kleiman. I believe in the culture of that program. They've got 6 teams in the Big 12 ahead of the team that just won the title. And one of those is UCF.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Texas Tech like number 23 or 24 on the list?
22.
22.
Texas is 5, OU's 11, TCU 17, Tech is 22, Baylor 23, UCF 26, Kansas State 27.
So if it's going off of recent success, how many games did Tech win last year? 7?
7-5? Were they 7-5? Or were they 8-5? They win their bowl game? They won their bowl game.
I'll give them 8-5. Is that recent success? Because outside of 8-5, they've been terrible. They don't recruit well. Like, nothing in any of those metrics has Texas Tech done anything remotely well at all. It's just, I don't know, man. I really don't care about ESPN's FPI. What makes me mad is I know they're lying. There's no chance in hell that formula spit out Texas as the number 5 team. There's no way.
And
unless they said they ran the simulation 20,000 times, unless they ran it 20,000 times and picked the one time that it had Texas at number 5. That's the only way.
I'm with you. But damn it, they've succeeded. We're talking about it.
Right.
Last thing that really bothered me, checking in dead last in the rankings when you look at all the Big 12 teams. Kansas. You got to understand the momentum, FPI. Come on, the Jayhawks are on the come up. What are we doing? Believe in the Fighting Lance Leipold's stupid formula.
Many would suggest, and I perhaps could possibly even agree, that they have the best quarterback in the conference.
I've had to do that ranking on my radio show multiple times already. Jalen Daniels has checked in at number 1 for me every single time.
It's meaningful.
Jalen Daniels, Dylan Gabriel, and Quinn Ewers are usually in the top 3 conversation. But I've gone with Daniels every time. I think he's he's just the most entertaining quarterback in the conference, which is fun.
You have to also look at it as all things equal, right?
Yeah.
All things equal. he's the best quarterback in the Big 12 because all things are not equal with him being at Kansas.
No. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
John Vance Auto Group has been serving Oklahomans for 40 years. Family owned and operated. They got 9 full service dealerships in Woodward, Miami, and Guthrie. No matter what your vehicle needs are, John Vance Auto Group has you covered. They carry domestic brands such as Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Wagoneer. John Vance Auto Group's goal is to give unequaled service and to exceed customers' expectations in every way, which is why they have their lifetime loyalty program. And here's how it works. You buy a new or used car, all you have to do is get all of the manufacturer recommended maintenance done at the Vance dealership. And if something goes wrong with the components of your engine, transmission, drive, axle, or transfer unit, they will cover the repair costs. It's a great deal. You can browse their entire inventory or find the John Vance dealership near you at vanceautogroup.com.
And First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all, whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone. Everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. They also do a great job if you need to ACH a very large amount of money for your taxes. Oh, it hurt, Ted. It hurt.
Yep.
People, make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. All right, for my winner of the week, I thought about going with the Sacramento Kings again. Took a 2-0 lead on the Warriors. Big time production from all kinds of guys in that game. And Sabonis wasn't at his best, but he was good. Fox continues to be awesome. Malik Monk is just balling. Harrison Barnes, Herter, making things happen. I mean, they just got a bunch of guys that are playing really good team basketball. That crowd remains electric. Here's to hoping that Sabonis's sternum is good to go for game 3. But hey, Draymond Green, he stomps on him, right? He did grab his leg. For whatever reason, I thought the stomp was hilarious. Like, as they replayed it over and over again, I just kept laughing harder and harder. I was like, who does that? I mean, who does that? But Draymond Green suspended for game 3.
That's noteworthy.
That's yes. Big. He has been suspended for a playoff game before, and it was rather substantial. It cost them a title and cost us Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that was a wild sequence. It's so weird to see the video of that and then go in the comments and see people say that Sabonis deserved it for grabbing onto his leg. He falls down and just kind of it's not like he went and sought out Draymond's leg. It's like he just kind of happened to almost get his arms tangled around his foot as he fell to the ground. It's so weird how people could see. Everyone sees the same thing, but there is such a wide range of interpretations of the event. It's so weird. Humanity is lost.
The NBA interpreted it as Draymond doing something dumb again. You're suspended.
Yeah.
That's how they interpreted it. I did think that I don't think I've ever had anyone stomp on my chest like that. Maybe I should try it. But Sabonis, he definitely sold it.
Oh my God. There's no way it hurt.
It was like WWE wrestling, when they do the slaps and they're like, oh, yeah. That's what it seemed like.
It's like, good job. He sold it.
Got him suspended.
I mean, I would say what Draymond did after getting tossed was more egregious than the actual stomp.
Speaking of WWE wrestling, he went full heel on that crowd. What was that? And I think Adam Silver was there. So that couldn't have helped Draymond Green's case to not be suspended, right? You do that, and then you basically turn into a heel, and you're working the crowd. It was only Draymond Green, man. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Good job. At least I didn't see this. Credit to Sacramento's crowd for that. That's typically about where you see a beer come from the 10th or 12th row. So credit to those folks for not doing that.
Yeah. restraint from the Sacramento faithful. All right, but my winner of the week, I'm going Bryce Young. I mean, seems like starting to feel like he's going number one overall to Carolina. The betting odds have swung significantly in his favor. He's going number one in the majority of mock drafts, and I think it has a lot to do, right? Reported that he has canceled his remaining pre-draft visits to other teams. And now he's already visited Houston and Carolina. So I think that whole thing's being blown out of proportion, maybe made into something that it isn't. But the general consensus was that CJ Stroud kind of fit the mold of the types of quarterbacks that Frank Reich has liked in the past. But clearly, Bryce Young and his people feeling good about things. It feels like he's going to be the top pick.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess Carolina is of some of the places that may take quarterback early, maybe is the place that you would want to go.
You
I
ever
don't
been to
know.
Charlotte?
No.
I've heard awesome things. I've never been.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Bryce Young in the
Really?
NFL. I think he's an incredible quarterback. I think he's a great college quarterback. I don't know. I'm not sold. I could be wrong. Could be wrong on him, but he's a worthy top pick. Okay. I've seen worse quarterbacks go at number one overall. We just talked about Jalen Hurts, so maybe my evaluation is not great. But
You were spot on Zach Wilson though.
yeah, I don't know.
But I don't
We'll
think
see.
that's a fair comparison.
He seems very frail to me. And I know they protect the quarterbacks like crazy in the NFL, so maybe that doesn't matter. I don't know.
He is going to have to offset that with his mental game.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like, and similar to Tom Brady. Right now, obviously, Tom Brady's a big dude. But when you talk about using your knowledge of the defense and of your offensive concepts to protect yourself by getting rid of the football, that's something that's going to be important for him. And just from everything I've been able to gather, talk to some people that, are around that program, like he's like that football IQ type of guy. So that's how you protect it when you're not the biggest dude in the world. But I did think it was interesting because Scott Fitterer, the new GM for the Panthers, had a press conference, and they asked him about Bryce Young canceling the rest of his visits, and he was like, "We haven't told him he's going to be the number one pick. You'd have to ask him and his people about that. We don't know why they did it." So I thought that, yeah. I love a good smoke screen when the draft is only a week away.
Yeah, well, they could go ahead and say, yeah, we're taking him number one if that's what they've made their decision on, but maybe they're not absolutely sold if, they're still entertaining maybe offers for that number one overall spot. I don't know. We'll see. I hope Carolina's got a good offensive line.
Yeah. Got to invest. I'm sure they're thinking that as well. All right, for my loser of the week, thought about going with Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. That squad they do not have a chance against the Celtics, especially if Derek White is going to play the way that he's playing. I mean, Tatum and Brown are enough, man, but Derek White has been, fantastic. And the Celtics look like a dangerous team right now. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen for our man Trae Young and the Hawks. And the worst thing about it is you think about that conference finals they made a couple years ago. They sent a lot out on the DeJounte Murray trade. Just doesn't feel great in Atlanta right now. I know Quinn Snyder just got there, but
I like him. Maybe he can pull that thing together, but it's felt pretty fractured for a while there.
Yeah. No, I do wonder what's next for Trae Young's career. He's got to start shooting the three better. Hadn't shot it well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I also thought about going with the Charge. A lot of Charge discourse these last couple days. And I get it, right? You don't want to see guys like Ja Morant and Giannis get hurt on plays like that, right? Where guys slide in. Now they didn't. People are saying they got undercut. That ain't an undercut. But when you slide in, you take charges. It has become a rather popular point of discussion. The charge is under attack, Ted.
I don't know what you think about it, but if you don't want to get hurt, don't go careening towards the basket out of control when a 7-footer is standing there outside the circle.
Yeah.
Sports come with risk, man. You can't remove all the risk.
Yeah. I do think the easiest thing to do, and I've heard a lot of people throw out different ideas. I do think the NBA at some point, they're going to extend the restricted area. I don't know how far, but with how far guys can take off from now, I think they're going to want to protect guys a little more. You can't eliminate it, right?
No.
It's already hard enough to play defense in the NBA,
right?
right? It's really difficult. If you take away the charge, man, it's ugh.
I've always said this: if you can take off, go over or through a guy and complete the dunk, it should not be a charge. If you can finish it and complete the dunk, to me, that airspace was yours.
I love that. I love that. Just like, hey, if you're that dude, then it ain't a charge. Right. Let's bring back posters in kids' bedrooms. Come on.
The rule is different for everyone, right? Some guys can like Morant, he can complete the dunk. Others, not so much. You better think twice. You're not going to get the call.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That would be fun. That'd be really fun. It would never happen, but it's going to be fun.
Right.
But my loser of the week, Ted, is Scott Foster lost his fastball.
Dang.
The streak is over. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Scott Foster is an NBA official, the most famous NBA official, by the way. Like when he is reffing a playoff game, it becomes a trending topic. I mean, it's crazy. But heading into game 2 of Suns Clippers on Tuesday night, Chris Paul, teams that he was on, were 0-13 in playoff games officiated by Scott Foster. I mean, just an unbelievable stat. It has very much become a thing. Well, the Suns win game 2. Even that series 1-1. Now, there was a portion of that second quarter where the Clippers had me thinking, are they going to go into Phoenix and win both of these without Paul George? But Booker and Durant ultimately they were too good. Devin Booker's awesome. He's awesome. And I don't know about you. I find him to be one of the more likable guys in the league. I don't care about his dating life or any of that. So like, I don't even pay attention to any of that, but I just like watching the dude play basketball. He had 38 and 9 in this one. Kevin Durant looks good, made a good decision, cut the hair real low. I'm convinced he's going to Chris Paul's barber. He looks good. He looks clean. Jumper looks good. Like, it looks like he's getting back into a rhythm. I really like watching the Suns play basketball. It's fun, but also Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that dude, and he's been for a couple months now. Like, he's amazing. Yeah. He might be the best player in the league. 31, 8, and 7, like, looks strong as hell. Like, he looks
quietly, right? He was the guy that he had all of the attention for like what's it, 2 years or so, and then
injuries.
Yeah.
Load management, but he's been awesome. Awesome. So there's a large part of me that wants Paul George to make a miraculous comeback off that knee injury and somehow play the last couple games of this series. That would be exhilarating, but I think it's going to be a great series regardless. This seems like it's going to be a really fun one.
Did you see? I felt a little sad. Felt like the end is quickly approaching when Russell Westbrook drove down the lane and couldn't elevate to finish that dunk. Did you see that?
I did. Westbrook's been, I mean, the first game, yeah, the shooting numbers were not good, but he had a massive impact on that game, especially late, like made the winning plays that resulted in the Clippers stealing that first game. What do you have, like 28
Yeah,
in
and
game two?
that final play bouncing off Booker was nice. Was
It's
a block. Yeah.
he, oh, yeah, that was, I heard Zach Lowe. He said that was Russell Westbrook's best defensive player of his career. And I was trying to go through what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, that was
In
pretty
the
damn
moment, I
impressive.
guess, maybe.
But I do think that his energy, like his effort, his energy, that's how I'm always going to remember him.
Yeah.
I,
I
like
just
he,
when I saw that play, I'm so used to that's him. He would tear the rim off the backboard on that play so many times. And I saw it, and maybe he just like got his didn't get a good takeoff or whatever, but I was just like, oh, okay. He's starting to lose that also.
we, we need more content of Russell Westbrook yelling at fans in close proximity.
Where was that? Do they like walk through the foyer before they go to the locker room?
So I've heard a couple NBA podcasts talk about it. I guess there's a long way and then there's a short way there. And like the short way is where the visiting players used during COVID because there was no fans. And it's like you walk right out on the court. And the long way, I guess, is a long way. So he was taking the shortcut, and there's fans like in a suite in there, and sounds like he called him Westbrook.
That
Hey, that
was
Phoenix
good.
fan, I'll give him credit though. He wasn't scared. He didn't seem scared.
Yeah, you got to be careful now. I get it if you're Westbrook there, but you never know whenever you pick the wrong guy.
Yeah, that guy. I'll tell you right now, that guy. He he did not look like he was going to shy away, and I don't know if that was his kid sitting next to him or what, but
Did have the plate of nachos, and he was like,
the the kid looked suspiciously comfortable with that grown up yelling at Westbrook. Like, oh, yeah, this happens a lot. Like, he didn't even act like it was that strange. He didn't even bother to stop eating whatever the hell he was eating.
"Oh no!" It took him a minute to even turn around. That was
Yeah.
great.
It was just like, oh, here we go again, Dad. Dad's yelling at someone again. No, but
That's good.
fun series. A lot
Yeah,
of fun parts about that series.